What I love about creatives is their infatuation of dreaming. I love that most of you in here, if not every one of you in here, you dream the most wildest dreams, the biggest dreams that to the average human might seem really impossible or foolish. You dream and you imagine things that to maybe some of the people that you're close with just seem out of reach. I remember when I was in elementary school, and my mom is here and she can attest to this. Most of my time in all of my classrooms, I remember daydreaming of this false reality that would detach me from the reality I was actually living in the moment. Why? I don't know. Just the things that I would dream of and the things that I would imagine were just way better than what I was experiencing in the moment. I love that dreaming really births amazing things. When people dream, they bring life to moments. If you really stop to think about it for just a second, what you're experiencing tonight, the art, the coffee, the music, the poetry, it was all somebody's dream before it became your reality. And I actually read a book once that said the material that God used to create the universe was his imagination. And what a beautiful thought, right? That you and I, we were in God's dreams. Way before he spoke us into existence. Way before he designed us to be who we are right now for this moment, God was dreaming of us. And if I can sum up the creative process in 3 phases, it's phase 1, which is dreaming. And phase 2, which is taking risks. And then it's phase 3, which is create. And I think it's safe to say that this warehouse is full of dreamers. I think it's safe to say that there are a lot of creatives in here with big ambitions and big imagination and big dreams, but I think it's also safe to say that a lot of us get stuck on phase 2. Have you ever gotten stuck on phase 2? Where you have this amazing idea of this painting or this song or this creation, but you get stuck on the risk taking. You see, when we stop at phase 2, we start to let our dreams fester. And we start to let them pile up on phase 1. And eventually what we have is just our minds and our souls full of dead dreams. When you stop at risk, you're telling God, you know what? I don't think this dream you gave me is worth it. You see, a creative without the risk is nothing. It's sort of like a canvas without paint. It's like a blueprint without the builders. If you are a creative and God has designed you with a specific talent, you need to be a person that takes risks. And I know that a lot of us get paralyzed by the thought of creatively expressing our art. I mean, I can imagine that even some of the artists today, there was probably some doubt in being so vulnerable with what you created. I get it. But let's just talk about phase 2 for a little bit. Why do so many of us stop at risk? Well, quite frankly, there are a ton of reasons, right? How about the fear of failure? Have you ever felt the fear of failure? Or maybe the fear of being misunderstood? Or maybe comparison? Or I know for me, one of the biggest things that paralyze me is when you create, there's really no guarantee of success. You don't know if what you're going to create is going to be successful. You don't know if what you're going to create is going to bless somebody. But when you stop at phase 2, you stop at the opportunity of blessing somebody around you. When you stop at phase 2, you stop creating things that have the potential to bless you or to propel you into your future. How about this? When you stop taking risks, you tell your future self, hey, I don't think you have what it takes. I have this really strange relationship with taking risks. Because I'm the type of guy that has ordered the same coffee drink for like the past 7 years. Anybody else like that? I've gone to the same coffee shop for the last 4 years. And when I like a song, I probably put that song on repeat for like a whole year. I am sort of like the king of routine. But one of the funny stories that happened to me a few weeks ago, I was at my favorite coffee shop, and as I was on my way out, I had already had my cup of coffee. The owner, who has become a great friend, he offered me a free drink. And I don't know, but if you're Mexican and somebody offers you a free cafecito at their home, or in this case, their coffee shop, you say yes. And so I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. I'll get extra caffeinated today. And so I'm expecting him to make me maybe a latte, a hot mocha, or an iced latte. But I see him reach under the bar, and he brings out this thermal, and he's about to pour me black coffee. I actually don't remember the last time I tried black coffee. I think the last time I tried black coffee was when I was a teenager. And I was raging it up on a Saturday, and I needed to be good for church. And I was like, I need anything, and I tried black coffee. So I tell him, I'm like, you know what? I'm down. I haven't tried black coffee in a while. And I remember when I sat down, I was looking at this yellow, beautiful ceramic mug. And I was looking at this black hole living inside of it. And I remember I took my first sip. And when I took my first sip, I was blown away. I was blown away that a cup of black coffee could taste so sweet. Now, mind you, that shock that you get in your body after a bitter taste, it was still there after every sip that I took. But the aftertaste, the sweetness of that aftertaste was unbelievable, like unexplainable. And you might be looking at me like, dude, what is this guy talking about? That was a big deal for me. And although I'd like to pride myself on the fact that for the past 7 years, I lived under the genre of latte dad, I think right now I gotta move up now because I am a guy that drinks black coffee. And the reason why I share this with you is because I don't know what's next for me. Like, I genuinely don't. Maybe it's trying a dish that I usually wouldn't try. Maybe it's going up to somebody and having a conversation with them. Or maybe it's putting an outfit together that maybe I usually wouldn't wear. By the way, when I left my house today, I didn't realize that I looked like Han Solo from Star Wars. Crazy. I think the world needs creatives that take risks, because it is the creatives that are risk takers that really change the course of history. I think of people like the Wright brothers, who were told that flying was impossible. You can't do it. They risked their reputation, financial ruin, their lives, but they ended up figuring it out. And they took a large world and they made it small. I think of people like Steve Jobs. I don't know if you know this, but he actually took the risk of going back to Apple, which was a dying company, and he tried to prove everybody wrong about innovation. And he changed the way that we communicate and we enjoy technology. And to wrap it up, I think of people like Michelangelo. Michelangelo was a Renaissance sculptor. He was an architect. He was a painter. And over 500 years ago, he was asked to paint the Sistine Chapel. And this is just a piece of this chapel that is filled with his paintings. But at the time, he wasn't really known as a painter. He was a sculptor. And he was asked to paint what seemed to be an impossible project. He was asked to paint a project that would risk his life, that would risk his physical health, and even his reputation at the time, because he was a sculptor. But I love that even 500 years after what he created, people from all over the world still go to Rome to see his piece of art. When you take risks, when you choose to dare as a creative, you have the opportunity to make an impact to the generations that are to come. So I really hope that after tonight, after we hang out, listen to music, and drink some more coffee, I hope that you can go home and get ready to take on your Sistine Chapel. That one project that is asking everything of you. That one project that you got to step out in faith and say, I am down to risk it all. And I really hope from the bottom of my heart that you never have to ask yourself this question: what if? So my challenge to you today is dare to be wild. Dare to be vulnerable. And the most important one is dare to be you.